Welcome into Steelers Latest, your daily spot for all news and information related to your Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content to stay up to date with everything Steelers. Today's episode, we got a lot of trade talks because signing Rodgers, we're all in. We're going for the Super Bowl once again. It's the Steeler way, Super Bowl or bust. Stairway to 7. Here's a couple moves though. Trade for a wide receiver. If we're really aiming, if the end goal is to win playoff games, make a Super Bowl push, you need a solidified number 2 wide receiver. Calvin Austin isn't gonna get it done out wide. Terry McLaurin though is in contract disputes right now with the Commanders, so that could open the door for a possibility to get something done there. I saw rumors. The Steelers are very speculated around Terry McLaurin right now, but the rumor I saw was us giving up a first and a fifth round pick for Terry McLaurin. That's a little too steep of a price for me, honestly. Uh, we have later round draft picks that I'd be more willing to give up, and I'd give up more of those instead of one first and a fifth, maybe a third and a fourth, because we got multiple picks in each of those rounds for someone like Terry McLaurin. McLaurin is an 1,000-yard receiver every year. He finally found a quarterback last year. That's why I'm finding it very shocking of these contract disputes going on right now between him and the Commanders. You would think they would want to lock down their number 1 weapon for the past 4 or 5 years for the long term after they finally found a quarterback in last year's draft. You got him on a rookie deal. But for some reason, they haven't locked down McLaurin. Maybe his asking price is a little too steep for them. Steelers got a decent amount of cap room, or if we do trade, we could lock him down for the foreseeable future. Once again, I'd be willing to give up as high of a pick as in the second round, but can't give up a first round pick for a receiver. Earlier in the offseason, didn't have to give up a first round pick for DK Metcalf. Earlier in the offseason, didn't get a first round pick in return for George Pickens. Didn't even get a second round pick in return for George Pickens. So I don't think receivers value really is that first round value when you can really go and find a receiver in each year's draft class in the later rounds that can produce. The Steelers seem to be very good at that also. So you can't give up that high of a draft pick for a wide receiver in the NFL, in my opinion. But Terry McLaurin would be a great addition, and you put DK on one side, McLaurin on the other. I think their games kind of are a little more opposite of each other's, which balance each other out a little bit and would make them perfect duo out wide at wide receiver for the Steelers. They just gotta make a move. If we're making the run for a Super Bowl, you gotta make a move for a receiver. It doesn't even have to fully be McLaurin. Still got Olave, possible trade target. You still got Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper in free agency. So a lot of options at wide receiver, but this is definitely the most enticing one with Terry McLaurin and his contract dispute in Washington. So keep an eye on that. Let's move to the defensive side of the ball, though, because I would like to see us go out and get a second cornerback that is not above the age of 34, because right now Darius Slay is 34 years old, and the cliff could be coming any day now. So I'd like to see us go solidify the secondary with another addition at cornerback, being Jalen Ramsey. A lot of rumors are swirling around the Steelers going after Jalen Ramsey as of recent. I know we've been speculated all off season long, but recently it's really ramped up. People are even saying that we could get a bargain deal for him, but Adam Schefter went on the Pat McAfee show and kind of cooled down the temperature in the room for us Steelers fans, kind of lowered our expectations as he said the deal more than likely is going to get done, that Jalen Ramsey will be traded from the Dolphins, but he thinks it's going to be to an LA team with the Chargers or the Rams. We just got to get in there before those guys. I don't know why we're taking our time. Once again, it seems like the GM, the coaching staff, it's all Super Bowl or bust once again for us Steelers fans. So you got to go make a move and solidify that. defense, that secondary, which had some question marks at the end of last season, if you bring in someone like Jalen Ramsey, we missed Jair Alexander, potential all-pro cornerback, one healthy. Jalen Ramsey is an all-pro cornerback, like close every year. So you bring him in, this secondary is as good as it gets. This defense has no flaws really in it. You could maybe say the inside linebackers with Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson would be the biggest flaw. But if that's the biggest flaw in the secondary and the defense at that point, your defense is pretty goddamn good. So bring in Jalen Ramsey, call him up, give up, give up a third, fifth, and a sixth. We have multiple picks in all those rounds next year. I know we could be stacking picks to move up in next year's draft to grab a quarterback, but if we're really going all in this year, if you believe we got a chance at winning the Super Bowl in the front office, call up Miami, see what it takes to get this deal done. Because adding a name like Jalen Ramsey to this secondary for the next 2 years, I mean, I'm a massive Jalen Ramsey fan, so I personally would really love to see Ramsey come join the squad in Pittsburgh. But if he doesn't, Omar Khan has another player in mind to make an impact instantly, as he talked about Dante Kent recently on the Steelers YouTube show. Uh, he says he has high expectations that he'll contribute soon and that they watched film from both his defense and special teams in college. So, what I'm really thinking he means by this is Dante Kent will get a lot of special teams reps this year because honestly, even if we don't add another cornerback, it's gonna take injuries for him to see actual playing time during the regular season this year. I do believe he's like 5th or 6th man on the roster at the cornerback position. You never know. Injuries always happen, so you definitely could see him this year. But if everything goes to plan, you shouldn't have to. We shouldn't really. If Brandon Ackles and Darius Slay both contribute very well to our team, you shouldn't have to see Dante Kent on the field this year, but I think he's going to be playing a lot of special teams for us this year. So keep an eye out for Dante Kent. You never know, though. He has a nice build to him 5'10, 190 pounds. Could make a solid nickel quarterback if he does develop well. And if he makes a couple plays in the preseason, if he makes some splash plays, really pops off the screen when we're watching preseason games, then you're like, oh, let's let him get some more reps during the regular season, and maybe he will earn his way into a role for this defense by the time the season rolls around. But right now, I think he's mostly going to be a special team player, and that's where the impact Omar Khan is talking about is going to take place. But let's wrap up today's show with some Monday comments. One of my favorite segments we do here on Steelers Latest. But getting started, Rob Swank. He said Calvin can be deadly with that speed. Looking forward to seeing how Roman Wilson performs. This was talking about Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin last week when I was debating who should be the number one wide receiver out wide. Calvin Austin, he does have deadly speed. I just worry that you can't only have that tool in your toolbox when you're in the NFL. Everyone out wide, every cornerback out wide is going to be as fast as you, more than likely. And they know how to play you, even if they're not as fast as you. They know how to play you, what positions to take on the field to guard you perfectly. So the speed isn't going to get the job done on the outside. More works inside because you can sometimes get matched up in zone coverages against those linebackers or even in man coverage against those linebackers. So I do like Austin in the slot position way more. Where Roman Wilson, I'm also really excited to see what he can bring to this team. We know the Steelers always develop wide receivers well. I think he's going to be just another excellent wide receiver draft pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's move on to the next one from Council 4950. If TJ is your best player, then playoffs is far, far away. I'm not really understanding what you mean by that because TJ is a top 10 player in the league. So if your best player is a top 10 player in the league, you could always have a chance to possibly make a push for the playoffs. And I know he's on the defensive side, but if you look at the turnover numbers that TJ Watt's able to produce every year, I think every team in the league would enjoy having TJ on their team. He gives offenses short fields a lot of the time. So I don't know why you think we'd be far, far away from the playoffs if TJ is the best player, because TJ is maybe one of the best pass rushers ever in this league. So moving on to Mr. Fresh Edition, the final comment, Mr. Fresh Edition. This was talking about Jair Alexander. This is what his comments towards. I disagree. We didn't miss out. No need to sign a player that has played 7 games out of 34 in the past 2 years. He has injury DNA. Now, sorry for the quick correction, but he played 14 out of 34 games in the past 2 seasons, 7 games a year. So I see where the confusion happened. But if healthy, he's he's basically a all pro cornerback. He finished second twice in all pro voting when he was healthy for 2 years. Before the previous 2 seasons, didn't really have too many injury issues. He did have one season before the prior to where he was hurt most of the season. But if you take the load off his back a little bit, if he's not really the shutdown #1 guy for your roster, and you get the deal for $6 million, I think you take the risk in him possibly getting hurt for $6 million because of the potential he brings when he is fully healthy. I just think you're underestimating the abilities of Jair Alexander. I know he was hurt the previous 2 seasons, but I think he's going to be a pain in the ass playing him next year when he's locking us down on the Ravens. And it's just gonna suck more because we could have gone after him and we could have signed him and we could have benefited from having him on this team, but instead we let him walk and go to an AFC North rival, our biggest rival in the Ravens. And I think he's really gonna benefit from having a whole bunch of really good playmakers in that secondary with him, which he would have had here also in Pittsburgh, and he would have been a great cornerback in Pittsburgh. I don't know why you're hating so much on Jair Alexander. But that has been it from Steelers Latest. I've been your host, Cole Dennis, and I will see you tomorrow.